And we are back. So something happened in Uric Balor and the Nidian Range that had us have a couple of people attacked by Kuside. I don't know if these were assassination attempts or what, but... And I don't have defense there. Why don't I have defense there? Bump that up. It might be whatever that thing was, if Cardam is him. Well, he has Guardians of the Deep now, but that's not... So we had a bunch of casting Twiceborns, the Hideheart, a bunch of Twiceborns. Some Highwoods. Won the battle in Old Floods that I decided to say whatever and move on with. Won the battle up top in Noptia. Doomna. Ind is still alive. We finally have actual confirmation. I'm kind of curious as to how this went down, seeing as they managed to drop 8 mammoths, which I'm impressed with. What the heck is it? A forest giant, which is diseased and starving and dying. Yeah, starving is very bad. Watch out for it. Yep, and he has kidded this boy. He gave him a slave matrix for some reason, so he would be a communion slave if there's anyone capable of communions. He has black steel plate and an enchanted helmet, so his proc's not bad, but it's not great. He has trample with the boots of the behemoth, and he can fly, so he's a flying trampler, which is nuts. He is immune to disease, he spreads dominion, has awe, and he has this moonblade, which does double damage against magic beings. So anything with the magic being category takes double damage from his crap. Fire shield himself. Wow. I just... Wow. Holy crap. So yeah, trample does what trample does, but they just frickin' murked a bunch of those mammoths. And then In's routed, they're dealing with fire shield, and then yeah, he just whoops out. And these guys don't care about the route because they're berserk. Yep, and so there we have the problem with things like mammoths, and if they rout, and you have units behind them, they can trample your own units. So that's a problem. Still, that was surprising. So they don't say why I had. Yeah. He was caught and killed. Good. Caught and killed. Good. I'm not dealing with more of that crap. Rafabola. So let's see how this panned out. I don't know how they got this off. I don't know what's going on. There's nothing really special about Kuside, so whatever. Tsunohara just made himself invulnerable. So basically any non-magical attack, guess what those qualify as? Non-magical attacks. He has an extra 25 protection against. On top of his nat proc. And yeah, well, not on top of the nat proc, I guess, but yeah. So against mundane attacks, 30 protection. He's basically immortal. So yeah, they chew through the wolf he has on him, because of course he does. Casts, yeah, Iron Skin, so that gives him nat proc 20, and then it's 25 against mundane. So that doesn't actually do anything for him, hilariously enough, but... And he's able to cast Body of Flames, which gives him Ethereal and an armor-piercing 12 damage fire shield. Before they close. Yep, and as you can see, they're burning themselves trying to hit him. It also causes a heat aura, so they're taking fatigue from that. He's fire resistant, so whatever. And yeah, he is just, yeah, they're attacking him and taking damage. And when he is swinging back, he is just murking them. Yep, 42 damage on the hit. And they are routed. He's just too exhausted to move, so free kill. And now let's see the other one, where he died, but he's a white sorcerer now because he's one of the ones who cast Twiceborn. First thing he does, Stygian Skin, not a bad call. Stygian Skin is like invulnerability, except shittier. So now he has 15 nat proc against mundane attacks, which, again, these are. Oh, and he goes straight for Body of Flames afterwards, so now he is also ethereal with the heat and fire shield. I was wondering how I could technically be considered to have won, despite the fact that, well, he dies. Spoiler. And it's because, while they do hit him because his defenses were not as robust as the Dionis, they do still light themselves on fire. And they do burn to death. Wait, so how did he die then? Oh, he routed as well. And I guess that auto-killed him. But it said the armies of Relay routed. He's not relaying, he's mine. I guess that's a glitch up there. And now it routed, but he makes it to the edge of the screen first and dies, quote-unquote. But now he lives again as a white mage, so right on the white mage. He does have a chest wound, but he actually has a lot more health than he used to. Same paths. Actually, he might be a bit better in death. Yeah. Well, not necessarily. I should check that. We're not going to watch the whole thing again. We're just going to see if he's still exactly the same. No, he is actually 1 point better in death. But he might be a point weaker in some... Nope, just a flat out an upgrade. He's just a point better in death. Thanks, Relay. So Relay did me a favor there. Derland, Laria. Let's actually sneak this way. Pretty sure it's got to be over here somewhere. Or here or something. I don't know. I know I saw it at one point. Any hoodle. It's been 10 minutes. We're just starting to actually get into stuff. So you take the new bow of war. Which does let me put you on fire and keep distance. And actually just aim at the rear. Aim at the rear. So yeah, we did take that. Met no resistance. We took that. Met no resistance. That's a lot of unrest, though. So we'll bump that up to 60 to deal with it. And we'll just recruit what gobos we can here. Alright, he's still on the way over to claim that throne. So that's a garbage site for troops, good to know. I have reached the roof of the world, basically. I could keep going this way. This will actually get me close to that throne and see what's going on there, so we'll do it. Now I would... Oh, that's not mine. Derp. I swear to God I can read. Oh, there's Yeah. Azure Initiate from a floating rock in the water. Okay. Well, whatever. I ask no questions. He's a gold maker, though. Gold maker causes unrest. He's a spy in human form. Glamored spy in human form. With some good paths, actually. Go ahead and give him that, and now, bam. He is actually an incredibly respectable mage. But yeah, so for example, keep track of all this. So, proc 0. So, yes, it causes fear, which can cause morale penalties, but really that's all they have going for them. Their stats are a bit higher than average across the board, except for strength. But no proc, only just a single regular attack, nothing to write home about. The Spirit Sight is nice. It means I can't turn invisible to avoid them. And they're blind, so it's not affected by things like blindness or darkness. So it's got that going for it, but other than that, it's really not anything to write home about. Its attack's not magical. It doesn't have any of that. Now, we give it all this stuff we were just making for them. I think I still have a goodie. I think I just never made the last one. Yeah. But now already, proc 29, reinvigoration. Yeah, nat proc 20 for the armor value average of 18. With quickness, so it's got 20 combat speed, 28 map move. It's got this, so it summons a water elemental at the start of battle. Why am I doing this? You need to not do that. You need to be forging magic items every month, and the magic item you need to be forging is Skull Faiths. Okay, so the Wraith Lord is not as good as I was hoping. So he's another base death 3, but he can summon allies, presumably Wraiths. We'll go ahead and just do that for now. We are going to replace his Baneblade. Why does he have a Baneblade, not a Wraith Sword? Whatever. With a Skull Staff for now, so he'll at least be Death 4. And we can give him a Skull Face to make him Death 5, which means he can also forge Skull Faces. So we have one more thing here. Bracers wouldn't be bad. Extra defense and protection. Again, I don't have a Bless, so this isn't important. It's not a mage, so this wouldn't do any good. That could be good. In case whatever they try to assassinate has any elemental responses. Yeah, actually, let's go ahead and do that. And then that'll be the last thing for Senshi. And now Senshi is actually a good assassin. Kitted out, it should be able to drop most commanders. So your goal is going to be attack closest, and we are going to put you as far forward as physically possible. Like it's your raison d'etre, is to assassinate enemy commanders. So we're going to make sure you do that. You are actually going to Fairy Court some more. Actually, no. You're going to hit the 4 Holy Beasts first. Then you're going to awaken a Tarask. Then you're going to Fairy Court some more. Yeah. And with this, we're going to pump the defense up. There's something going on here, but it's... I don't know what, so I don't care. I feel like at this point we just have to go for it. We got that. Got that. It's go time. Why is that so much bigger when they're more or less the same? Whatever. Okay, yeah, no, I did do that with you guys. Proceed, proceed. It's time. Everybody push forward on all fronts. Benjiro there, Naoko there. You two there. It's just what it's gonna be. We're just gonna launch a full push, as much as possible, at least. And, you know, just kind of hope for the best here. Now, in fairness, unfortunately, the charge is being led by just pure, unadulterated garbage. Unfortunately, I have to tell it like it is, and my default Gabo armies are just... they're just not. Like, there is not a good word that I can say for them that would be accurate. Let's put it that way. They are trash troops. Like, there is no beating around the bush with that. It is just they suck. You get a cauldron of broth, and I don't have any more war bows, which is unfortunate. So you're just gonna stay behind troops. You're going to fire and keep distance against whoever. You're going to hold an attack closest because the only reason you exist is to tarp at things so they can keep shooting more. Is it harsh? Yes, but it's also true. Okay, and it looks like we're actually going to be able to start... like, we're actually going to be able to do two turns this episode, which is nice. Yeah, he can't just flat out summon, unfortunately. So he's kind of got to go where the unrest is. But, yeah. There go my resources. But that's fine. It's for a good cause. I mean... see, here's one of the things I can do with this. Is, like, he has his horde of skeletons. They're just going to charge. Nothing fancy there. Now, he has enough death that I can... first, I am going to want him to cast, like... where is it? Yeah, cast invulnerability on yourself. Seeing Skin again is it's invulnerability but shittier and cross-pathed instead of just straight death. Then Body of Flames, because that was actually pretty nice. So he's ethereal, invulnerable, and has Fire Shield. Then know. Iron Skin. And then if you're still coherent, could do the blessings and whatnot, but nah. We're going to straight go Horde of Skeletons. It's only a level 2, and so he has a bunch more than that, so it's not going to do nearly that much. And yeah. Number of effects is increased by 1, so it's 7 skeletons per casting. Again, I don't know how up and about he's going to be at that point. Actually, what I should do... I'm going to change Body of Flames real quick. Because if I recall correctly, yes, Earth Power does give reinvigoration, so we're going to want him to do that first. Then Iron Skin. Then... What does Phoenix Fire give? Oh, just Fieries. Yeah, that don't matter. It's not... We're not about that life. Where's Body of Flames now? I've lost it. And I've lost the spell. Thank you. I'll be here all life. All life. All lifetime. I am the English good. So yeah, he's basically just gonna buff the crap out of himself. Get his proc up to ridiculous levels. Like, Iron Skin's just gonna make his proc better, period. And Vulnerability is gonna make it so Mundane's... He has an extra 25 proc against mundane attacks, so regular troops basically cannot hurt him. He's going to summon Earth Power, so he has reinvigoration. So all that fatigue that's piling up will be less. He's going to do that before Iron Skin, so he's technically 2 levels above Iron Skins. So that's going to do very little fatigue on top of the reinvigoration. Then Body Flames. How much is... Yeah. And that's Death 3, and I just made him Death 4, so that's not even 20. So he's basically going to be buffed to crap. And then this isn't even going to do that much. It's going to do less than 20. So he's just going to crap out skeletons in the back. Well, actually, let's go ahead and set him up here. There are reasons for that, but it don't matter exactly at this moment. Don't have any rings of water breathing right now. I might want to fix that, come to think. I know I don't need him for this, but still, yeah. Have access to a lot of stuff with him. You know, that's not a bad call, too, because, yeah, these guys have a good amount of health. But, honestly, I'd rather go Girdle of Might for the reinvigoration. But, yeah, so we'll have him forge a Ring of Water Breathing for now. Gnarly Tooth, we're going to see what comes of that. So just make a note of what's here. And I've managed to burn enough time that maybe we won't get to do 2 turns in a single episode again. But yeah, we are going to kick off the war next in the in-between. So next episode we will be at war with Tien Chi. Hopefully this large blitz will be sufficient. I think it will be. And I believe my defenses are good enough. Back to research, I guess. Actually, what rituals do we have? You know what? Oni. Like, Ko-Oni are just whatever. Ao-Oni are also just whatever. So they can throw cold. These ones are just the ones that only have clubs. Oni have swords and throw flames, so that's not a bad idea to just summon a bunch of demons. You know what? Let's go ahead and do that actually. Kuroni aren't that expensive either. That's 6 death gems for 4. So we'll just summon a bunch of them, give them to the Oni general, and then just throw them out there. That being said, as the staging area, it's pretty important that we have unrest reduction here. So that's going to be a thing. But yeah. We're just going to let it do what it do. Next turn, we have the war kicking off. Yeah, you have to wait one more turn for one more goodie. I could give him the box of monsters. I don't want to risk it, though, because that's an item where there can only be one of it in the world at a time. So if she's carrying it, somehow fails the assassination, well, now they have it. And the only way to get it back is to kill them for it. She doesn't really benefit from regeneration, because regeneration, it's based on 10%, more or less. I think it's rounded up, so she might regen 2 health a turn. And thanks to all the proc she has from the armor I kitted her, that might work. Might. But it's far more useful on something like these, Bakemono Kiso, who have 49 health. Like, at that point, they're regenning at least 4 health around, and they have the health pool where, like, if they just got unfortunately caught in the crossfire for a bit, they'll still be fine. Yeah, he's not high enough for the Rod of the Phoenix to spam Incinerate. There's the Wand of Wildfire. Mace of Eruption for Flame Erupting Mace, but yeah, Scepter of Authority casts Combustion, which isn't bad. It's one of those spells that doesn't actually, like, quote unquote do anything. Very high it's very good range, very high precision, low fatigue cost, and with bounds item spells you can cast them for free. And it doesn't do damage, it just sets them on fire. However, the set on fire damage is useful for a whole host of reasons. Alternatively, if you're looking to kit one of these boys out as a thug, like to just go out and absorb, a Ring of Regeneration coupled with a Coral Blade is not a bad call, because that boosts them up to 57 health off the bat. So 57 health, so they're regenning at least 5 a turn with a Ring of Regeneration. These guys don't have nature, so I can't show that one as well. But you give them that, give them, like a Girdle of Might, that same deal I was doing. Plate Armor of Earth Power with Iron Face. Gives them pretty good proc, a lot of health, maybe a Vine Shield in the back. Vine Shield or a Lantern Shield. I mean, Corpse Candles aren't bad. Heck, if you're feeling crazy, a Shield of Gleaming Gold for the awe. And they can just stand in the front and just keep on keeping on. That said, Firebrands also might be a good call if you're looking for just pure thugging, because Firebrands and Frostbrands and the Bane Fireblades are nice, because not only do you have the swords attack, but the extra effect, like the small area fire, small area cold, what have you, those hit the entire square. It's a great response to my goblin swarms, for example. Like, again, because the whole point of using them over bandits is that I can pack just a ton of them together. And so, like, I have 6 per square. Well, things that do area damage, like Firebrands, Frostbrands, Bane Fireblades, what have you, the effects, like the small area decay, the small area cold and fire, that hits the entire, that hits 1. That's entire square. Their effective 1 will hit 1 square. So 3 human-sized opponents or 6 goblins. These can clear out what I do very quickly if the enemy is using them. Will they? I don't know. These are comms. I can't speak for them one way or the other. Alternatively, I could have somebody with this in the back, which buffs friendlies. And Wraith Swords do life drain. Like, Bane Blades are nice. They do decay on hit to the target, which is why they're not as good as the Bane Fire Blades over here, or Firebrands and whatnot. Wraith Swords, which, again, I'm kind of surprised that his thing was considered a Bane Blade and not a Wraith Sword. Because it does life drain instead. So it doesn't do as much. No, it does more damage. So it does about the same damage. Requires a higher path, but basically, when you hit someone with it, you get health back. So, also, not a bad call to give somebody if you want them thugging in front of your army. Like, it would not necessarily have been wrong of me to swap both of those out for a Bane Blade. Again, this guy was more ghetto setup, because he got whatever I had on hand. Again, I don't know how I feel about that helmet. Did I make a helmet for my set? Yeah, helmet got Iron Face. Yeah, I might give, like... I didn't have Iron Faces at the time. If I did, I might have swapped him out for it. Because not only is it as good as this horned helmet, this magic helmet, more or less. Double check. Yeah, it's slightly better, actually, than that horned helmet in terms of just raw armor. Yes, he misses out on the extra attack, but he also has a 20 proc under the armor. So his proc would basically shoot up to, like, in the 30s. Because there's some overlap loss, but that would make him very, very, very difficult to hit. And that's not, like, to mundane, to whatever. That's all. Plus, I think, yeah, plus he's ethereal. So, attacks have a huge chance of missing him anyway. And then he just has ridiculous protection on top of that. So even if you do hit him, he's not going to take much damage. He has no encumbrance and reinvigoration, so he will never get tired. He's got quickness, so he's making 2 attacks around with all this stuff. He's got now the water elemental in addition to his 3 corpse candles. He is good. This set, again, haven't tested, but it's more of the same. It's more of the focus of earlier. Like, yeah, he doesn't have blink with these. I don't know what a Starlit Shadow is, so I can't speak for that, but it's another one. That also, again, he has the quickness, so he does swing twice with his Firebrand, so that's 2 squares of fire, basically. Or the same square twice if things in it are still alive. There's a lot to be said for that. But anyway, this is running on a bit long. Next turn, we will see the fruits of that first ridiculously aggressive push against Tien Chi, and we'll see if it comes with the desired results. If we can push them up out of here, so much the better. If we can't, we'll have to play it by ear. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you guys responded to the poll last episode. Again, that will just be for future series. I am a stubborn son of a bitch. And, well, I started this series doing it this way, so I'm going to keep doing it that way. For no other reason than that. And now, yeah, she's coming up with a good, like, just setup of stuff. It's a shame I don't have any reinvigoration on her. Yeah, maybe. You know what? That's a thought. Yeah, I never did anything with these guys, so yeah. Forge. Somebody's gonna be on Girdles of Might. You're gonna be on Armor of Earth Power. Just, it's less for protection for her, because if she's in combat, something has gone horribly wrong anyway. Just telling her like I see it. She is not a super combatant chassis. She is not a super combatant. She's not a combatant. If she is under attack, something has gone horribly wrong. So that said, the things that are useful are like the Tree Lord Staff that gives her 2 extra paths in nature. That Winged Helmet that gives her an extra path in air. The Cornucopia gives her extra nature gems on top of the ones I threw at her. That's all much more useful for her than, like... And so, like, the Girdle of Strength, of Might, and the Plate Armor of Earth Power. The Plate Armor of Earth Power is going to give her extra encumbrance, which will be a problem when it comes to spellcasting. But between the two, she'll have 6 reinvigoration, which is big. Because normally, when you're in melee combat, you take fatigue, basically, in melee, it's however much your encumbrance is per round of melee. Spellcasting, it's whatever the spell cost of the spell is, whatever that fatigue is. So if we pull up the spell book, like, oh, I threw a bunch of them around, but this was the worst school I could have picked for this. But like, for example, Keen Blades, you know, whatever this is, plus spellcasting encumbrance. And bigger armor tends to cause more multiples of spellcasting encumbrance. Like, let me find somebody who's kitted out. Actually, you are. So yeah, like his encumbrance is 0, but for spellcasting, his encumbrance is 8 because he's got all this armor on. So that means again, anytime he casts a spell, he takes fatigue of whatever that spell's fatigue was plus 8. If I understand it correctly. But what I've done, what I will have done, is sure, she'll have encumbrance from, you know, the Plate of Earth Power or whatever, but she'll have plus 6 reinvigoration before anything. Which is pretty good, all things considered. It is not terrible. Yes, now then, Mr. White Mage. I don't know. That was just a flat-out improvement, and I appreciate it. Even if I don't act like it. Because, yeah, that was just now it's just a flat better mage. Which Hiding Art doesn't do. Now, granted, it is still a garbage combatant with, like, mediocre... It actually has a bit higher protection, but still, it's not a great combatant. It's not a bad combatant per se. Again, all of its stats are slightly above average here. And its health pool is much above average. But, okay, whites aren't immortal either. That's good to know. Actually. So, the only way to get immortals out of them is still to do it this way. Again, immortality is not perfect, as we've demonstrated before. Still die. very easily. Hello, random guy that is not yet immortal. Let's fix that. But yeah, like things like Soul Slay will still kill immortals. But it's just higher retention basically. So like if I threw, I don't know, enough of these at things to make my problems go away. Funny joke, I know. Actually, you mass those. We're actually going to break you off of that for a moment to, no, I don't need the Soul Taker. Magic of the Stars and Skies. That will do. Golem will also do and is cheaper, so we're going to go with that one. There's a reason for this. Because the Berries of Gaia, this will let me break into communions. And communions are very, very good. Normally, they are an astral spell. A few nations, mine is not one of them, because it's an Alteration 0 spell for the factions that do have it. Factions that do spell singing can cause communions via nature as well. But normally, the way to get communions is to have an astral mage. Well, everyone involved normally would need to be an astral mage, because it's these two spells here, Communion Master, Communion Slave. I think I've talked about it before in one of the other episodes, but essentially you can use it to, rather than have a bunch of people throwing spells around, which admittedly my mages are good enough that'll work just fine, but like it's a way to give more paths. So like instead of having like 6 like of these guys throwing spells around, I could have 4 of them as Communion Slaves and 2 Communion Masters, which will bump the Communion Masters up 2 paths in everything they have, and shunt the fatigue of casting things into the Communion, so basically into the slaves. So that basically turns the slaves into a giant, into essentially a giant booster that also does reinvigoration, because they're eating the fatigue, and they're boosting the mages that are actually casting spells. That said, my mages are actually pretty good, and I can kind of get away without that, but it's another tactic for thought. Did I make a ring of water? No, I'm fortunate. I haven't actually hit end turn yet, and I've managed to rack up 45 minutes of talking. Good God. So this one turn has technically taken 45 minutes. Jesus Christ, I am sorry, everybody. But yeah, next episode. Okay. Why did I never put defense here? Gotta fix that now. Everything else is suitably defended. But yeah, I will talk to you guys next episode, where we find out if I can actually deal with this. Actually, we'll do that way. They're still gonna be attack closest. But yeah, I will see you guys next episode. Bye-bye.